If Kenyans are not careful, let me tell you what Emmanuel Toy is going to happen. If Kenyans are not careful, we've always had elections where we choose between Mwizi A and Mwizi B. We've always had that. We've always had an election where we choose between Devil 1 and Devil 2. Where we go to the ballot box already disappointed. Because you're not going to choose a good leader, you're going to choose the one that is worse than the worst. The one that is less worse. Then when he acquires power, he becomes worse than the worst. That is the option we've always had. Where you go to the ballot, you don't have an option. You either choose between Mwizi A and Mwizi B. And if we are not careful as Kenyans, and this I'm saying even to the youth of Kenya, this is what is going to happen. And I'll tell to you step by step. Around next year, Raila Odinga will leave government. He'll say, I've tried to assist William Ruto, nimeshindwa. I've given him even experts, hawawezi. Huyu asaidiki, he will leave. Then he will do the usual drill that he always does. He'll go around 5 or 6 counties. He'll say he's consulting. He will consult, then he'll come with a 5-point agenda of the things people have told him. I mean, I'm telling you, the script is already there.
You're not a prophet.
We just need to read the script. He'll say he has come with a 5-point agenda. He'll say that 5-point agenda, one of the things the Kenyans have told him is high cost of living. The second thing is justice for all those people who've been hurt during Maandamano. The third thing is auditing the public death. The fourth thing is the living conditions of Kenyans, that the cost of living is too high. The fifth thing is reforms. And then he'll say this must happen within 30 days. He'll start Maandamano. This opposition will join him. They'll become an opposition together again with Wamunyoro. And we will go to 2027 with Raila as the candidate for the opposition and Ruto as the candidate for government. And the Gen Zs will have to choose between Raila and Ruto if we don't raise an alternative right now.
Morara Kebaso, you put it perfectly correct. Because all along, the politicians knows what they are doing. And I've been telling Kenyans that politicians write a script and they act that script. And you become a dupe and they become the tricksters. So what am I supposed to say at this moment? Listen careful what Morara is about to expose right now. And young people, please, coming together is one of the fundamental aspects we have to consider for us to liberate ourselves from the raw kind of leadership that we've been having all along in this country. Take a look.
The Gen Zs are repeating the mistake that the millennials did, which was pull each other down. And we are not just seeing it in politics. We're even seeing it in real life. When a youth right now makes money, if you buy a car and you are too young to buy a car by their standards, they say you are wash or they say you are Illuminati. If you buy a car at a young age, whereas you as Morara truly bought a car at 22 years without stealing public funds,
okay,
by just working hard. So there is a self-esteem problem. When a young lady, let's say in a company, gets a promotion to a managerial or mid-managerial level, they say she's sleeping with the boss.
By the way, na mbono kwa hivyo, like vijana wataki kuja pamoja. Ukistruggle peke yako, upige mahatua, uende mbele. Wanasema huyu jamaa alijoining Illuminati. Huyu jamaa akona mumamas. Huyu jamaa akona wazungu. Huyu jamaa akona nini? Mbona vijana tuka hivyo na sisi tunasema tume-evolve? Ai hapana, sio fair. And mark you, this is the gateway for politicians to continue using you because you are not united. It is high time for us to start thinking about honestly uniting, coming together, putting political differences aside, cultural differences aside, and now think about Kenya, how to come together for a purpose to liberate Kenya from the imperialistic, from the capitalistic kind of leadership that has been there all along.
So we are self-cannibalizing. We are it's like somebody who has given up on their dreams and wants every other person to give up on their dreams so that they are at the miserable corner together, so that we are miserable
so
together.
You're telling them you are not a project?
I'm telling them for sure, and let me say it categorically without mincing my words. I have never been a project. I can never be a project. So I'm neither one, nor do I intend to ever be one. Why? Because I have a mind of my own. A future that I see for my peers, for my children, and I serve only the country and God.
Okay.
And that Jubilee Party has 4 cabinet secretaries in government. Meaning Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta is perfectly in business with William Ruto. He has a bank called NCBA Bank, whose biggest client is government, and it has recorded the largest profit last year. So his bank is doing business with government. He has 4 ministers inside government, but he is speaking like opposition while in government. And while in opposition, he is offering us a choice for our future, the future that he destroyed. Surely, between me, Morara Kebaso, who is trying to bring the youth together, and Jubilee Party, who and their candidate, who is a project, definitely they are the project of Uhuru Kenyatta, and by extension a project of William Ruto, because there is no difference between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. They are CME twins conjoined at the hip. They are in business partners. They do this thing together.
When you look at the criticism of an alternative voice, largely it's coming from young people. Like I've told you, a lot of those people are actually supporting the status quo. They're either with William Ruto or they are with Wamnyoro, because they do not want anyone else to do anything, but they are not doing anything themselves. You know, I think somewhere in the Bible, the week before Jesus was crucified, he had his disciples talking about calling him Lord. Blessed is him who come in the name of the Lord. And as they said that, the Pharisees asked Jesus to rebuke his disciples. And Jesus told them that if they do not, then even stones will raise up in praise. What is the point here? My point here is so simple. Anyone saying that these 2 or the 3 of us, or as many as I've seen people talking about Salasia, myself, Morara and Makore, being people who are out to divide the Gen Z vote. First of all, the Gen Z vote will not be the majority vote. But if you put together the Gen Z vote plus the millennials vote, work is done. Again also, the youth vote does not exist as a vote itself. That is why politicians would rather work with women, group us into our different groups, and then run away with it. So as such, if there is anyone out there who wants to actually bring a third formation and they do good work, I will support them so long as they are running on these 2 things. Number 1, national transformation, and number 2, social justice. If anyone outside of the 2, because if I look at Wamnyoro and I look at the president, they are one and the same. It's just different sides of the same coin. And we do not want that particular transition. There's something that is happening and people are not seeing. There's a generational handover that is happening. That millennials have come of age now properly. They are the cogs that is actually running the economy. And they should also transition into leadership. But as millennials become Kenyans proper, you know, they used to be the coolest kid on the block. Now they are not, because behind them then are these young people who are actually pushing. But as they do that,